What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Thursday, June 7th, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the Reverend Jared Petty.
Doki doki and good morning.
How are you, sir?
Reasonably chipper. How are you today?
I'm good. E3's bearing down on us.
I know, but I'm excited.
The leaks and announcements keep coming.
Yeah, I was talking to Tim this morning, and he's like, I kind of almost have a cold, but it's like a cold in my soul. And I think that's just that E3 kind of that tiredness that comes just before the light breaks through the clouds and it all comes raining down.
Well, that's the thing. That's the roughest part about E3. I think covering it and working it is the fact that you get to a point where you're like, fuck it, just make it E3 already. You know what I mean? I'm so ready for Sunday. Saturday's fine, EA, Andrea, great, whatever. But like Sunday,
we like Andrea.
Sunday's the real deal. Sunday is like, here's where the press conferences are rolling. Here's all the stuff, and I'm gonna blink and be in LA. Then I'll blink and be leaving LA to come back home. But right now it's been the months and the months and the months and the months of planning. Where it's like, let's just go, let's do it.
Well, that's right. I'm flying out tomorrow. I'm just like, it really begins for me tomorrow.
Really begins. Yeah.
I'm flying down there because for Hop, Lip, and Pockets, I'm doing a bunch of interviews in that couple of days before that I've wanted to do in LA. I figured I'm doing the trip anyway.
Nice.
So really kind of E3 starts for me tomorrow. So I'm just about done with that waiting game.
Can you tease who you're interviewing down there?
I probably shouldn't yet.
Okay.
I've got the appointments are pretty much settled, but I don't want to say anything until it's 100%.
Yoshida, you're saying?
No, but some really neat people.
Spencer.
People I'm excited about.
Jack Trenton's there advertising that thing he does now with the Upstart business or whatever.
I can tell you this.
Yeah.
Because you like to tease me about it. There'll be somebody from Twinfinite.
Whoa! Look, how coincidental. That's someone from Twinfinite. But the website you're in the tank for trying to get a job at.
There's some pretty fun, neat guests coming. I'm excited.
All right, cool.
But yeah, it's good to start the show. How about you? When are you headed down?
We head down Tuesday.
Yeah?
Remember, I'll get to that in housekeeping. Because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show, kindafunny.com/KFGD. Give me your questions, comments, bad PSN names, and everything else under the video game sun. Then, watch us record it live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and listening later on podcast services around the globe. I got so used to Tim doing the globe motion.
I like the globe. I like how you did the globe.
Well, you got to. Tim usually does it for me.
Yeah, but this time you did it.
You got to start doing it. You got to start doing it. From now on, I've bequeathed that to you.
Wow,
that's another job responsibility. For you. That's another job for you here on Kind of Funny Games Daily.
Okay, I can handle that.
All right, good. Housekeeping for you. X-Men in review is still going on. We are watching all the X-Men cinematic universe movies and reviewing them, ranking them, ragu bagus, and everything else you love from the MCU and reviews. X2 is live right now on youtube.com/kindafunny. Go check it out. It goes up every Thursday, 9 a.m.
Are y'all going to do the TV show?
No, just the movies. Just the cinematic universe. Okay. You know, you got to cut it off somewhere. You got to stop it somewhere. What's that now?
The TV show, the cartoon show
in
the 90s.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, it's an excellent show. Well, I don't know. Does it hold up? Have you watched it as an adult?
I watched it I want to say 4 years ago.
As a kid, I remember liking it a lot.
Yeah, the animation quality is not as good as you remember, but the writing's actually surprisingly sophisticated for that period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, like I just said, E3 is coming up, and here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, we will be doing a pre-show, post-show, and a live reaction stream for each and every conference. That's right. Come watch all the conferences here. Asterisk, not the PC one, not the Devolver one, not the limited run one. If you can't catch it live, I should say, remember that the live reactions go up on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, so you can see us freak out. And then the post shows are Gamescast, so they go up on your audio Gamescast feed, as well as youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Tuesday we shoot down. Wednesday we see a bunch of games and put up reactions you can catch on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. And then Thursday we are streaming over at GameSpot's stage. You can catch us live at 2:40 all the way through 6 o'clock. Then at 6:30 in LA, we're doing a meet and greet. No, you do not need any kind of E3 pass to go to it. Which brings us to Max C.
Ooh.
Max C writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, I will be in the LA area for the week, although not at E3. I was just hoping for some more clarification on the location of the GameSpot battle rig, as Googling brought no solid results. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but I guess that's why I'm here. Wiki emoticon. Love the show. Keep clucking that fickin'. Wait, that's not right. Heart Max CC.
Got to go to LA Live, to that monument to consumerism.
Yeah.
That is
LA
LA Live.
Do you know where it is in LA Live?
So LA Live, no, I don't know exactly where it is.
Me neither.
But LA Live's kind of a big open plaza, like surrounded by businesses.
In front of that Microsoft Theater and all that jazz.
Yeah.
We will be tweeting our balls off about it. LA Live, has that one giant open area. I assume it's in that one giant open area.
I've got the most self-serving advice possible. What he needs to do, since you guys are on Thursday, is just come to mine Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
There you go.
Find me, and then you'll know where to find Greg 2 days later.
Perfect. Easy.
That way, if you miss me, it's not that big a deal. It's
no,
okay.
What? No, Jared. No. I'll retweet it. You put out, here's where the battle rig is.
Here's where it is, and
I'll
you
tweet
retweet
it.
it? All right, we'll do that then.
Also today, we're brought to you by Omaha Steaks, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 7 items on the Roper Report.
Baker's dozen.
That's
Also,
crowded Roper Report.
I know, right? We had to add one, and then Tim was supposed to yell something else at me. Actually, I think it might be 8 now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, whoa.
I think it's well at the very end. If Tim hasn't come in to clarify what it was, we'll say it. I think Phil Spencer said how long the Xbox conference is.
Oh, okay.
I think he's tweeted out 100 minutes. Or no, that doesn't sound right. Kevin, go to Phil Spencer's. You know Phil Spencer, Kevin? Can you go to his Twitter? Because that's what Tim was shouting at me as I went. Also, shout out to Portillo joining us for Kind of Funny Games Daily today.
Yeah, hi,
in my
Portillo.
lap, just being a good dog.
Yeah, he's being a good boy.
Let's start with the official number 1. Crackdown 3 is delayed until 2019, sources tell Kotaku, a.k.a. Jason Schreier. Here's Jason's article. First planned for November 2017, then delayed to 2018, the long-troubled open-world action game Crackdown 3 will now be out in 2019, according to 2 people familiar with the game's release plans. It's an unusual move and another blow to Xbox's already weak first-party lineup for the rest of 2018. The third Crackdown game, developed by the British studio Sumo Digital, among other companies, was first announced at E3 in 2014. Last year, Microsoft said Crackdown 3 would come out alongside the Xbox One X on November 7th, 2017. A polarizing showing at E3 2017 and some severe development struggles led Microsoft to delay the game, first to a vague spring 2018 window, and now to next year, said those 2 sources speaking anonymously so to protect their careers. Microsoft did not immediately respond to a request for comment. I'll tell you what, Jared, I'm very happy about this news because it puts me in line to have a prediction point from the Gamescast.
Oh yeah. You're
My prediction
my
on the Gamescast, if for some reason you didn't watch it, which many of you did, thousands of you had, thank you so much. Of course, up on it right now, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, a million other things, our E3 predictions, annual bets. I said that Microsoft won't mention Crackdown at all on the E3 stage. So we will see.
You feel right there, just like, if they've already delayed it, why would they bring it up?
Well, the only problem here is that it's not officially delayed, right?
Yeah.
This is Schreier with sources.
Uh-huh.
Are they going to come out and say that? I would think that's bad news. You get out beforehand and don't talk about
Do
it.
they show you a trailer and then at the end put coming 2019?
I don't think they do,
Yeah,
right? I don't think they do. I
No.
think you have to shy away from it all again, get it out there.
Yeah,
But
it's like,
that's how it
there's
is.
our game. It's coming out eventually.
Obviously, a lot of you wrote in, ladies and gentlemen, about this. I would say there's 2 huge stories today, Crackdown 3 and Hitman 2. But this was the one that had the most responses probably because, of course, people write in kindoffunny.com/KFGD as soon as this show ends. I'm going to give it to JT, though. He put in a pretty comprehensive response, and that'll kick off our conversation. Jared Petty.
All right.
Hello, Greg and Jared. I'm positive you've heard the news at this point that Crackdown 3 has been delayed till 2019, or at minimum, there are sources saying that. With this news, I couldn't help but laugh in remembering back to the E3 Predictions Gamescast on Monday, when Tim said that it would be out within a week of E3, and you, Greg, made the bet against him that Microsoft wouldn't mention Crackdown 3 at all during their press conference. Oh, fuck, was it just a bet? It was just a bet, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I can't remember if it was a bet or a real point. Whatever. The 43-minute mark. Any best friend want to see it again? But I have 2 questions that pertain to this news. Number 1, does the news of this delay lower your expectations for the Microsoft conference at all? But more importantly, number 2, do you think Microsoft's recent trouble with exclusive titles makes third-party developers more hesitant to sign exclusive deals with them? Why would an outside studio want to work on an exclusive title for Xbox when Xbox themselves can't seem to do it well? Also, with the cancellation that happened of Platinum Scalebound and the poor sales of Crystal Dynamics' timed exclusive Rise of the Tomb Raider, I think third-party studios had the right to be hesitant to sign an exclusive agreement, and this news just makes it worse. I know this might sound needlessly rude, but that's not how I meant it at all. P.S. I genuinely appreciate Jared, and I would like him to know that.
Oh, what a nice thing to say. Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate
JT. What a nice young man.
Love to hear that.
Nice young man.
Well, answering number 1 and then number 2.
Number 1, does it make you less excited for Microsoft's E3?
Yes, because I really want to play Crackdown.
Really?
Yeah. Crackdown is still one of my favorite Xbox games ever.
Here's the thing, is that I totally enjoyed the original Crackdown. Crackdown 2, I didn't pay much mind to.
I don't care.
Crackdown 1, though, hop around, get the orbs, play online. It was great and all this stuff for that. But it was another Microsoft game that I think was sign of the times. Look at this cool thing. Go be a superhero in this open world. All right, cool. Get orbs. Yeah, you're playing with your friends. That's great. I think we built it up in our heads, and I mean we, just gamers, that like, man, Crackdown 3, because it's an exclusive Microsoft has, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Exclusive sell machines, we want these things. I was never and am not now expecting Crackdown 3 to be amazing. I think it's going to be a fun buddy around with your friend and blow shit up thing.
That's what I want. That's why I'm so excited about it. I expect like a 10-hour game with another 5 to 10 hours of good co-op, maybe.
Yeah.
That's almost a 2.5, like a double and a half A game. Just take Crackdown 1, take what worked about it, forget all the crap from Crackdown 2, just cut that out. Keep it super simple and make it prettier and make the buildings destructible like they showed off, and I'm in.
So here's my thing is, if that's all, and that's all I'm expecting too, and I'm going to be fine and I'll play it for, I doubt I'll be invested in it forever, but maybe you and I hit it off and we play it forever. Does that, would that have been super exciting at the Microsoft conference just to see more of that, to know more of that?
Personally, yes, because I miss that kind of video game.
Okay.
And and if that's an experience I can only get on Xbox, for example, then that's a good reason to have an Xbox.
Of course.
I think that video games, we've said it a million times, there's a lot of sameness in what's safe, what you can pour AAA money into.
Yeah.
So whenever a first-party studio invests in a game that's a little different, I get excited.
Sure.
And this is a kind of video game that we just don't see much anymore that I miss. So for me personally, extremely exciting. What about you?
The game itself, all right, cool, whatever. When it happens, like, you know, when I'm so middle of the road, like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not like excited for Crackdown 3. So for me, and as you know, somebody who predicted it wouldn't even be at E3, and now it's not, maybe not going to be, or not in the conference. Like, I'm just as excited for the conference of Microsoft. I like not knowing what they have. I like the idea of them having crazy third party agreements and announcements. Hey, here's this first party studio we've brought in and we're making stuff with. Here are all these announcements setting up the future of Xbox. That's what gets me excited about Microsoft's conference. Like we said yesterday, right? They have to come out and prove it. They have something to prove. They have to come out and explain why they are on the right track, even though it might not look like it.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to give the impression I'm not still excited for their conference, but I am less excited because while I want to see new things, this is something that particularly I personally want to play.
Okay.
And that's why it detracts from. I'm like, oh, man. On the other hand, delays, often a good idea. Let's not release a game before it's done.
And that's the other big thing about it, right? Is like, in you know, JTD really didn't bring that up in his argument here, but I know a lot of people, oh man, well, it's like, Microsoft can't afford to put out Crackdown and have us go, wow, what a 7.
Yeah.
What a 7.0. This game that got announced in 2014.
Yep.
4 years later, finally limped out. And even after at last year at E3, everybody's like, I don't know if this is what we want. Still isn't what we want. I forget, and it wasn't Phil Spencer. It was the other person. She's a woman. She's in charge of one of the branches of Microsoft in game publishing. And she had done a interview, I want to say, maybe right around the time they delayed Crackdown 3, just spring or whatever. And she was just like, we like, it's quality. It's a quality issue. We're going to make quality games. We can't pump shit out.
There we go.
And don't do that, right? I mean, like, again, so far this year, you want to talk about Sea of Thieves and you want to talk about State of Decay. Depending on who you talk to, they've been great games or they've been all right games. You know what I mean? And that's definitely not what they want, period, let alone with Crackdown 3, this thing that, you know, should theoretically move units, should get people excited at least to play their Xbox games.
Yeah, and get online with their friends exclusively on Xbox. Even if it's just one other friend, you're there with your buddy. That's an experience that Xbox used to be renowned for.
Yeah.
That it is less mentally tied to, I think.
Oh,
than it used to be,
100%.
or at least less exclusively tied to. That used to be the place to go.
Oh yeah,
play online games.
if you were playing multiplayer games, you were totally playing on Xbox.
Yeah.
You weren't playing there.
Moving on to the second, do you think Microsoft's recent trouble with exclusive titles makes third-party developers more hesitant to tie in exclusive deals with them, only in the sense install base? I don't think it's so much a bad look that developers are worried about. Developers are going where the money is.
Exactly.
And right now, there are way more PlayStation 4s out there than there are Xbox Ones. And so they're going where the money is. You're going where you can sell your software.
Yeah, and that's the... Hey, you want to drink my water? You little turd. I will need another water now that Portillo's drinking mine. Okay. That's the big question here, is that, of course, video games are art. I'm creating something like we create on our YouTube channel. I want to share it with as many people as possible. Somebody who makes a video game wants to share it with as many people as possible. However, there's the business realities to that. And there is the argument of how crowded all the marketplaces are right now,
Yep.
especially PlayStation, wherever, especially Xbox. If Microsoft is still willing to cut you a healthy check to make your game exclusive, to give it an exclusive window, to do whatever, I still think that speaks. Because again, as you've seen time and time again, just because it's windowed exclusivity on Xbox does not mean it's not coming to PlayStation 4. It does not mean it's not coming to Switch. If you can get that, if you can recoup from Xbox's exclusivity window a quarter of what your development cost on this project was, your operating budget for a year, why not do that? Why not, make that move? Thank you, Cool Greg.
Yeah, I mean, one day, assuming I live much longer, I'm going to make a video game.
Yeah,
and I want that to be a commercial video game product, and I'm going to try to publish it. And I'm going to look to the marketplace that's the most lucrative and accessible and good for consumers and good for me as a developer.
Yeah.
That's probably going to mean going the place with the largest install base that's open to me at that moment. Now, there's more than just install base. If you can work out a deal with somebody so that your game is promoted on their platform, that's huge. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're on the biggest platform if nobody knows it's there. So sometimes it does make more sense to go with the smaller install base if the publisher or the first party is willing to go, no, we'll highlight it. Okay, totally worth it.
Of course, it also comes down to what kind of game you're making and where that fits. Kevin, strap in. We're jumping in number 6 on the Roper Report.
What?
Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon is killing it on Switch. This is via Matthew Handrahan. I'll get it. I see Matt's name all the time, but I'll get it right one of these days. Over at GamesIndustry.biz. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon sold more than 100,000 digital copies, with more than half of those sales made on the Nintendo Switch. According to tweets from the developer, Inti Creates, the game reached 100,000 downloads less than a week after it launched. Almost 2/3 of those sales came from North America, with 23% coming from Japan and other Asian markets. However, the platform breakdown yielded the most interesting results. The most lucrative platform for Bloodstained was by far the Nintendo Switch, with 56% of all downloads, more than PS4's 14%, Steam's 19%, Nintendo 3DS is 4%, and PlayStation Vita, it lives 4% as well, combined.
Waiting for my physical Vita cartridge coming soon.
Is that a limited run or is that just out?
No, it's not. It's when ROTN comes out, not COTM, but ROTM.
Yeah.
Mine's coming on Vita physical. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah.
So I think I wanted to pull this one out because where the conversation's going right now with this Crackdown thing and how exclusivity works now and the way that you look at Bloodstained, you think Castlevania, and especially the 8-bit version, right, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
What do you call it? 8-bit version, retro version?
Yeah, this is the retro. It evokes the spirit of 8-bit. Let's call it the retro version.
Okay. You see that, you think Nintendo, you think your Switch, as I and so many other people use their Switches. That's where I try games. That's where I play the smaller indie games. That's where I have the experience. That's where Just Shapes and Beats is living West of Loathing right now.
Yeah. West of Loathing's so much fun.
It's so good, dude. I'm having such a great time.
Yeah,
are you putting that on the Western or your Red Dead show?
On Red Dead, yes. I started playing it for Red Dead, and now
so
I'm just
funny.
hooked.
It's just such a funny text adventure RPG,
and it's really smartly written and lots of little clever bits here and there.
Yeah.
I love the shooting gallery. Allowed me to sit there and increase my meat before I started the game.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Did you do that?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I heard about it though after the fact.
I didn't know it. I just started playing around on the screen. I was like, that's really cool. Anyway, without digressing.
But that's the point, is that like you're talking about you making your game. JT's talking about, are people going to be hesitant to partner with Microsoft? It's a big question now of how much money you're getting up front versus what you could do on another system and how you could shine. And we keep talking about Nintendo having a discovery problem like all the other eShops. They've put out their new things and they've updated the store. But still, it's Thursday. You'll see soon how many Switch games came to the mom and grop shops today.
Yeah.
It's such a weird world of how do you balance all this information.
I made my E3 prediction on Gamescast again that Microsoft will make a play for this space at their press conference. I think that the time is ripe. I think that people are looking at Switch right now and going, whenever one platform becomes saturated, becomes the place to go for this, and success follows, that creates an opening for, well, wait a minute, that's an area we can highlight as well.
Yeah.
Previously, I think it was Sony that owned the space. Now Nintendo owns it. But before Sony owned it, this was Microsoft's space.
They invented the space
exactly.
for console
and
games.
I think they have a very good chance to walk out with the right tools for publishers, developers, and consumers, because they handle storefronts and platforms better than anybody to this day.
Yeah.
It would be very easy for them to create the most easy to publish on, easy to discover, easy to purchase on world in independent gaming on platform on consoles. And I think that they may make a play for that, and I hope they do.
I mean, I would love if Xbox came out and was just like, or Phil came out or whoever, and it's just like, we invented this space, we've let it go by the wayside, we've got our ducks in a row. We are working on getting our first party lineup. Let's say at this point in the conference, they've already announced three first parties they've picked up and what projects they're looking for.
Yeah.
We're excited though to get back into this indie space. I want to introduce you to 5 games you're only going to get on Xbox or Summer of Arcade or whatever, and talk about all this stuff.
I can't prove this, but I get this idea sometimes in the industry that whenever a company leans into that indie space, it helps launch the platform, it gets them on top, and then I can't prove it, but internally I get this feeling that maybe once it's on top, suddenly there's much bigger games and games of service to sell, because indie games aren't usually games of service, and there's big bottom lines and there's huge, and that part of the business kind of gets left by the wayside.
I mean,
that again and again, it just gets left behind, and they forget what got them there.
I don't think you even have to hypothesize that. I think that's exactly what happens, right? Like, I think you saw that with Xbox to an extent in terms of the 360 era towards the end, when it wasn't like, I remember when Summer of Arcade was like, stop the presses, holy shit, what do they have? I can't wait to see this.
Oh, Mark of the Ninja forever.
And PlayStation totally launched it that way, and then we saw their E3 press conferences become, no offense, this is what you do. It just becomes trailers and big AAA things, and no indies, and no VR, and no Vita. That gets put over to PSX, and you see people like Geo holding on. But in the same vein, you see people who led the indie charge, Adam and Nick and all these other people for PlayStation leave, right? And I'm not saying like, well, they were squeezed out or whatever, but it's time for them to go. Maybe they see the writing on the wall. Maybe they see the winds changing. You know what I mean? And and it has been. I know I just said, you know what I mean, a bunch of times. Sorry. Sometimes I get really riled up talking about
what I mean. That's
when
right.
when I start fucking pitching what I think's going on behind closed doors. But you saw that change. You saw the vision shift a bit, and it works and it does it. But now,
so a Switch
Nintendo is doing it in such an interesting way where they have the Nindies. And they talk about the Nindies and they promote the Nindies that way. Well, I guess they are. They're just doing it in a different way than everybody else did.
Nintendo? Doing things in a different way?
Weird.
I know. But I think there's a huge opening for Microsoft there. I hope they take advantage of it.
Kevin, I saw you earlier go to Phil Spencer's Twitter. Did you find what I was looking for? Can you go have somebody yell for Tim then and get Tim in here to explain it? But I'm going to move on to number 2, the official number 2 on the Roper Report.
Official number 2 on the Roper Report.
Hitman 2 is official. November 13th, 2018, you can play Hitman 2. It is a single game. It is not episodic. It's coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Here's the official rundown from WB, of course. IO, IO, was it Square? Square let go of IO. IO got the rights to Hitman from Square. Square was very nice about it, apparently, at least publicly. I assume privately, too. Then WB's publishing. It's a partnership. Here's the thing from WB/IO/Hitman himself, Agent 47.
That was a amazing paragraph.
I just like to give you a lot of information there just to set everything up on where we are.
I'm really impressed.
Thank you very much. Hitman 2 takes players on a global adventure across a mix of bustling international locations, including a vibrant Miami setting with the colorful ambiance of an in-progress motorsport race, bringing a new backdrop to the series. From sun-drenched streets to dark and dangerous rainforests, each intricate location provides multiple paths to discover an unparalleled game depth. Whatever. Continuing the ultimate spy thriller story, Hitman 2 allows players to take on the role of the masterful Agent 47 and embark on a mission to hunt the elusive Shadow Client and unravel his militia once and for all. However, when 47 learns of the hidden truth about his past, nothing will ever be the same. Hitman 2 introduces new ways to play with the Sniper Assassin mode, a standalone feature that brings a co-op experience to the Hitman series for the first time, allowing 2 players to work together online to take down their targets. Sniper Assassin can also be enjoyed in single-player mode for those who want to play as Agent 47. Sniper Assassin is available to play now as an early access bonus for consumers who pre-order the Hitman 2 Standard, Silver, Gold, or Collector's Edition. As an additional pre-order bonus, full game early access will be available for Gold and Collector's Edition owner by 4 days before the release. Jared, you excited? Did you play Hitman 1?
I did, and I liked it. Yes. Did you play it?
No.
Okay.
I did. I dabbled, but I never played it.
I don't get into most stealth games. There are exceptions. I enjoy Metal Gear.
Hell yeah, you do.
Others. But Hitman I loved because Hitman is about hiding in plain sight in its newest iteration. And so it's not about, most of it's not about, I'm out of their eyes right now, I'm crouching. It's about walking around in disguise, infiltrating areas in really clever ways, using your environment to do neat kind of Rube Goldberg machine stuff to murder people.
Yeah, of course.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy because I wasn't crazy about the episodic structure. I understand why they tried it. I'm all for experimenting. I'm glad to see it back. I'd rather have a shorter game I can play all at once than a longer game stretched out over a bunch of episodes, honestly. So yay. I hope this follows the model of Hitman 1, and I think it will, where I'm not so much being sneaky man as I'm being suave international man of mystery who also happens to be about to kill you.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
What about you? Does that have any appeal to you?
No, like Hitman 1, I think every so often about going back and playing because, again, I enjoyed it fine. But it's just like, for me, it's such a mechanical thing of do this to make that to do this to, and it's just like, I feel like even though there's a bunch of different ways to do it, I'm still just doing. It's probably a lot of the people, a similar problem a lot of people have to like Telltale games of like, well, I have no real choice on how I'm doing this. I have no real agency. I'm still doing it the way the game allows me to do it.
I would say you have Agency 47.
Yo, bada bing, bada boom.
That's my
there it
thought on the
was.
matter.
Tim was thinking it. Good job.
Tim, where do you fall on Hitman?
I'm kind of where Greg's at with it.
I respect
seems
it and understand it.
And
It's
this,
just- yeah.
the Hitman 1, the episodic one, like watching Let's Plays that Achievement Hunter did, I was like, this is really, really rad. I feel like Nick could get really into it.
Nick did. He played a lot of it. He liked it.
Yeah, the illusion, when you were talking about Telltale game stuff, the thing
Yeah.
about Hitman is as long as you're not watching Let's Plays, as long as you're not reading guides, if you go in to eliminate the target, in the contemporary Hitman games, there's so many different ways to do it that you don't realize you're being led. It's very good at fooling you into feeling like you have agency in a way that I think that maybe some of the earlier stuff was less good at. They
Gotcha.
really have kind of gotten that down to an art form.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
once you know how it's supposed to play out,
Then it's over.
you
You're
can
like,
see
oh,
the seams.
yeah.
But it's a game you play once or twice per scenario and you don't see those. It's only when you keep going back that you start figuring out where the walls are.
Okay.
Did you call me in here?
I did. I need to go to news story number 8 right now that Kevin can't find on Twitter, but you yelled at me as I walked by. Phil Spencer said what now?
I sent you a Slack.
A Slack. Exciting.
God forbid you just be part of the show and talk to me right now, huh?
Fun fact.
That's how you wanna be.
Slack,
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Don't try to talk your way out of this one, all right?
Slack is the Back to the Future 2 of apps. That's right.
Fuck you, dude.
There we go.
You know what? You're a real piece of work.
You
All right?
dick.
I'm sick of your shit talking to this.
Whatever.
All right, here we
I'm
go.
so known for my negativity.
Tim Gettys via Reset Era reports via Twitter.
Yeah.
Wretched Weaponry tweeted at Phil Spencer and said, any word on how long the Xbox E3 conference will be this year? People are saying 2 hours. Is that true? Phil Spencer responded, should be closer to 100 minutes from our last run through. So there you go. 100 minutes of Xbox goodness.
That's awesome.
Will they mention
I'm very
Crackdown?
excited.
Who knows?
There was a Twitch schedule that went up that made it look like it was going to be only 45 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then there was a lot of people excited about that. I don't really know why. Like, I understand like wanting a condensed tight show.
I want all the announcements.
I want to
give it all
a
to me.
condensed tight show that's now 40 minutes of
Sure.
awesome news.
Yeah.
I'd be okay
All
with
the
that.
third
Yeah,
parties.
I'm on board.
I want this.
Bring the
100.
hype.
Give me the 100 minutes. Get in there. Show me what's happening.
I like the short.
Show me what
Like
this
that.
fucking Rocksteady game
want
that I
not
assure
1
you is
minute
not.
less.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Sorry.
You don't assure us that it's not Superman?
No, well, hold on. I'm going to jump to reader mail.
Wow, we are all. Kevin's gonna hate us.
Well, it's just
so
no.
much today.
It's, we do this all the time where we insert the question into the show. You know what I mean. So I'm gonna do that. Here
get
we
lunch.
go. I love you very much. Enjoy your lunch.
Would you ask Cool Greg to bring me lime water, please? Yes. Thank you.
Tim, did you hear that? Yeah.
Yes,
Sorry, I
thank
thought
you.
you were saying yes to Kev. Brandon wrote in. Speaking of all this Xbox business and what's going to happen at their conference, to kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, "What's up, Greg and Jared? This is mostly for Greg. I woke up this morning to another leak from 4chan on PlayStation Lifestyle's app and saw Rocksteady's Superman poster leak. The title of the game is Superman World's Finest. Greg, where's your hype level? Personally, my hype level is over 9,000 right now. I would love to hear your thoughts on this grain of salt rumor. Thanks, Brandon. P.S. If the game is announced, instead of punching through the video wall, you should rip open a white button shirt to reveal a Superman shirt underneath. Brandon, I've thought about what I'll do. Don't worry about it. I tweeted this out yesterday at the end of the day because a lot of people were sending me over and over again this Superman World's Finest art. I'm going to condense the tweet to you right now.
Okay.
I still don't believe Rocksteady's game is Superman. Partly because I just feel like we'd have a full-blown leak. Partly because I refuse to believe God loves me that much that he would give me that he would line these things up. Maybe the Justice League. I hope it is true. I'm not talking at all about that.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is this image, right? The image is such bullshit. The image is like low quality, sure. It's good and it's interesting, but here's the big problems. It uses the DCEU Superman symbol, and it uses the Man of Steel text. And as I said on Twitter and then got into a fight with a bunch of DCEU fanatics, there's no way in God's green earth, if Rocksteady or anyone, or if a Superman game gets announced there, that they're going to use the imagery of the DCEU.
I concur.
We've learned how, and like people wanted to argue this so many different ways with me online. You're going to look at the Arkham series, look at Insomniac Spider-Man, look at Telltale's Batman, Telltale's Guardians, for better or worse. Give talented video game developers the ability to make their own world.
Yeah.
We're past the days of shitty licensed games. We do not need to try to tie this into that universe. And then other people are like, I think you're looking too, you're going in too deep. They could still use that and not tie. No, they could, but they won't because that's stupid.
Yeah.
And then people threw Krypton at me. Krypton uses the same symbol, blah, blah, blah. And my thought and my answer there was, if you remember when Krypton got announced, it was when DCEU looked hot and everybody was super into it, and it seemed like it was going to play more with it. I think if you right now, if they were like, we're starting a Krypton show and we're doing all the concept art, they would not use the spaceship key or whatever.
Yeah, I think the only way that art would have ever ended up in the game is, I mean, the game's obviously, if it exists, been in development a very long time.
Yeah.
And could have had that same grandfathering in where we were using that imagery when this all looked hot. But I agree with you nonetheless, because
especially Rocksteady. If it was Rocksteady,
yes.
Okay. And then somebody's like, well, WB owns Rocksteady, so well, sure, but they're not going to say, hey, you did such a great job making your own Batman universe. Here, you have to use this.
More than that, Rocksteady, I think, is going to demonstrate a more fundamental understanding of the character and what makes him compelling than, frankly, the DCEU has so far regarding Superman. And I think for that deal to happen and come together the way that they would want it to, that's not the symbolism they're going to draw on. Superman ultimately is something so universally recognizable to a broader number of people outside the DCEU. It's better marketing, it's better branding, it's better design to lean on Superman's symbology and mythology that is understood by the general public. And the DCEU Superman is not the Superman that most people know.
Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, so like that image in general. And then today, the amount of people that hit me up about, WB's doing this surprise stream. It's going to be the Superman game. I'm like, do you not listen or watch this show? We have told you repeatedly it's going to be Hitman. All the signs were pointing to Hitman. No, they're not going to. I just want it to be Sunday. I just want to know one way or the other what the fuck's happening. Because then it'll be my prediction that's been going on since January that Rocksteady would be there. We'll know if I'm right or wrong. We'll know if it's a Superman game. We'll know if it's a Justice League game. We'll know it's fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
TMNT would be rad.
It'd be insanely good.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I want it to be black and white if it's TMNT. I know it won't be, but I want it to be.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Damn, Jared.
So bad.
I feel like that'd be a great indie game. I don't know if I could do like 30 hours of black and white and TMNT.
Beautiful, like black and like a Rocksteady design black and white TMNT could be gorgeous, especially if they do the color splashes like they did in the reissues.
Okay, now you're talking.
Yeah.
Now you got me.
Like that's how I do it. You'd have like black and white, and then when color did show up, it would be for great highlight reasons, like that really made things pop.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fuck, that sounds really good.
Game.
Number 3, Paladins on Switch is official. This is via Brian over at Nintendo Everything. Paladins, my apologies, is official for Switch. A listing on the European eShop reveals the release, which is slated for June 12th. Paladins preload is live on the North American eShop. Pricing is set at $29.99. European Switch owners can preload Paladins Founders Pack right now for $24.99 in euros. Free-to-play version of Paladins will be offered later this year, but the Founders Pack allows for early access, the ability to immediately unlock all the champions and their voice packs now and forever, and contains exclusive cosmetics. Join 25, this is like from the actual site, join 25 plus million players in Paladins, the free-to-play fantasy team-based shooter sensation. Wield guns and magic as a legendary champion of the realm, customizing your core set of abilities to play exactly how you want to play.
25 million people have played Paladins?
I know that I don't know anything about Paladins, but I know it was a big deal when it was coming to Switch. So there you go. Huh. And based on, like I said, all our Battlefield conversation that Andrea and I had, just putting it out there for you. Got nothing to add for you. I don't think I'll ever play it. Excited for Fortnite to come to Switch. I digress. Number 4. Insomniac has announced an Oculus exclusive. This is via Tomas Franzese. Was that Franzese? Franzese, we're going to say.
I have no idea.
At DualShockers. A brand new open world sci-fi project for Oculus Rift was teased by Insomniac Games and Oculus Studios last week. Today, they officially announced the game, which is called Stormland. With Stormland, the game's developers are trying to bring the traditional structure of first-person open-world games into VR. Players control an android gardener from an alien planet whose body is destroyed by something called the Tempest at the beginning of the game. After that happens, players must set out on a journey, freeing other robot and upgraded themselves along the way.
I think something's wrong here.
Yeah, something's missing, but no big deal. Movement controls are very dynamic. Players will be able to glide and fly through slip streams and can easily scale large cliffs. When it comes to combat, players will have access to a variety of explosives, can create makeshift weapons, and even harness electricity in order to gain an edge in battle. Stormland will include both single player and multiplayer, adding to the game's lofty ambitions. Check out the game's announcements trailer and blah, blah, blah. Concept art below. This is on DualShockers, of course.
Yeah.
Stormland is currently poised to come exclusively to Rift in 2019.
Exclusively to Rift. That's interesting.
It's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We want to make these things. You'll write a check. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If the check is important, and the promotion might be even more important.
And that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've watched Indie Game the movie before.
Uh-huh.
You remember when they're sitting there talking with Team Meat and just
Great
like,
movie. Everybody should watch, by the way.
It's like the difference between this popping on the arcade front page and not popping on the arcade front page, even though it's live, is the difference between it being in the front of the store and being in the back room of the Toys R Us where you can't get to it. That's a rough analogy. What it says there.
They're freaking out because it's not up there when it's
and when they thought it was going to be, and I think that's worth its weight in gold, because people, no matter how good something is, nobody sees it.
You're not gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
But I think it's what you're talking about there, and I think INsomniac is definitely one of those independent third-party studios that experiments a lot. And all right, how can we make the game we want to make and make more money? This is not their first exclusive Rift game, right? They did that other one that I can't remember the name of. Then, of course, they did for the game I like a lot, but I can never remember the name of. Marin, you're in the submarine. Going down.
It's the Song of the Deep.
Song of the Deep. It was the Game Trust game. Like,
that's
you know
a neat game.
Oh, amazing game. Should have had a platinum, but I digress. I'm going to give you one small story. This is number 7 before we go back to number 5, which will be the final story on the Roper Report. Number 7's a quick one we added here. We printed off as we ran in. You showed this to me from your favorite site, Twinfinite.
What? Twinfinite?
Monolith Soft opens new studio in...
Actually, hold on. I don't have it written on my sheet. Where is it?
The headline.
Is it for the headline?
New studio in
okay.
Tokyo, but I don't know.
Okay,
Iidabashi, Tokyo. This is from Hayes Madsen. Hayes writes, Monolith Soft, the developer behind... You just read this. There's way too many Japanese words. I can't help you on this one. I can't help you, everybody.
Monolith Soft opens new studio in Iidabashi. Monolith Soft, the developer behind Baten Kaidos and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or Baten Kaidos, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has opened a new studio in Iidabashi, a neighborhood in the district of Chiyoda in Tokyo. The news comes via the Twitter account of Yasuyuki Hone, an artist and board member of Monolith Soft, who joined the company back in 1990. Thanks to Nintendo Everything for spotting the news. This is just something worth noting, because Monolith is very deeply tied to Nintendo. And effectively, while Monolith produces some really interesting things like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, they also are part of that kind of Nintendo second-party family.
Sure.
And so a new studio could mean all kinds of interesting things.
Could be something really big, Switch. Could be something small.
Yeah, we don't really know. I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, really nifty game. They focus mostly on RPGs over at Monolith. Okay. So maybe something in the works there in the far future for a new Switch RPG type stuff, or maybe some help on another Nintendo first-party project. Who knows?
Okay. We will see.
Worth noting.
Okay. Thank you, Jared. Thank you for noting it.
Well noted.
Well noted. Number 5, which is the final Roper Report, even though we had 8 stories. Jared, you put this one in there.
Yeah.
This is the follow-up to the already shortened version we did this week, right? Was it this week already?
Yeah. Was that last week? That was last week.
Last week. Steam went on, hit up a bunch of people who were making visual novels.
This started back in May.
Okay.
Yeah, this started back in May.
Give me the synopsis before I jump in.
All right, real short. Several people that produce visual novels that happen to contain erotic elements. On Steam came out one day and said, "Wow, we've gotten notices that stuff that we had approved that's went up for a very long time, sometimes years, needs to be changed or it's going to be taken down very quickly." And they said, this just came down from nowhere. We don't know what to expect. We don't know what to do. This is our livelihood. It's how we make our livings. We worked very hard to make sure this was approved.
Yeah.
What the heck? Steam eventually came back and said, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, guys, we're not yanking your stuff. Sorry about that. But that produced a lot of uncertainty around how this decision got made, why it was announced the way it was. Some of those developers went, hey, GOG's over there. We're a little nervous about where the Steam Marketplace stands, because if you're going to buy a video game on PC, Steam and GOG
that's where you go.
Largely it, and Steam most of all. Then yesterday's blog, the one that's listed here, is a huge deal for people who play video games, because even if you're not a PC gamer, understand that the power and influence of the PC platform really does affect a lot of what ends up happening on consoles later on. A lot of the independent titles that you play on consoles, their lives begin on Steam, or they're originally designed for Steam. It's a place where new ideas happen in gaming more than anywhere else. And so even if you're like, oh, that's a PC thing, this isn't just a PC thing. And this statement by Valve is huge for everybody who loves video games. And that's why we put it in here today.
All right, then here. So the final story, number 5. Kevin, you threw up that Polygon article about Days Gone. Is the chat freaking out like I forgot the Days Gone release date? Mm-hmm. We have a section called New Release Dates, everybody. Calm your fucking dicks down, or I'll drive to your house and kick them in. And if you say I don't have a penis, I just don't have a penis, I'll kick something else in and you won't like what it is, all right? Everybody fucking sit down in the fucking chat. Simmer down. It's E3. Chip. There's a lot of goddamn news to get through.
Tell him, Chip.
That's a very violent threat.
You know what? That's what people respond to. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was, I gave out fucking brownies and Tootsie Rolls and everybody had a good time. But these kids, these little sluts watching, they love it.
Oh my God.
They love getting roughed up.
Chip, calm down, Chip. You're too hot.
They love getting roughed up, Jared.
I have nothing to say.
We all went and saw 50 Shades of Grey and we came back on a different audience, all right? That's what this group is, and they fucking like it rough once in a while.
I don't work here.
Put the blindfolds on, everybody. I'm coming home.
I don't
Number 5. So this is from Steam's big blog. Erik Johnathan wrote this over there in response to everything that's happening.
Yeah, this is an excerpt from it.
And it's a long one.
The blog is super long, and I tried to trim it as much as I could.
Yeah, I'll read it here. So we ended up going back to one of the principles in the forefront of our minds when we started Steam, and more recently, as we worked on Steam Direct to open up the store to many more developers. Valve shouldn't be the ones deciding this. He's talking, of course, about what games go up and what games don't. If you're a player, we shouldn't be choosing for you what content you can or can't buy. If you're a developer, we shouldn't be choosing what content you're allowed to create. Those choices should be yours to make. Our role should be to provide systems and tools to support your efforts to make these choices for yourself, and to help you do it in a way that makes you feel comfortable. With that principle in mind, we've decided that the right approach is to allow everything onto the Steam store, except for things that we decide are illegal or straight up trolling. Taking this approach allows us to focus less on trying to police what should be on Steam, and more on building those tools to give people control over what kinds of content they see. We already have some tools, but they're too hidden and not nearly comprehensive enough. We are going to enable you to override our recommendation algorithms and hide games containing the topics you're not interested in. So if you don't want to see anime games on your store, you'll be able to make that choice. If you want more options to control exactly what kinds of games your kids see when they browse the store, you'll be able to do that. And it's not just players that need better tools either. Developers who build controversial content shouldn't have to deal with harassment because their game exists. And we'll be building tools and options to support them too. As we mentioned earlier, laws vary around the world, so we're going to need to handle this on a case-by-case basis. As a result, we will almost certainly continue to struggle with this one for a while. ... Jared writes, skipping down a bit. So what does this mean? It means that the Steam store is going to contain something that you hate and don't think should exist. Unless you don't have any opinions, that's guaranteed to happen. But you're also going to see something on the store that you believe should be there, and some people will hate it and want it not to exist. It also means that the games we allow onto the store will not be a reflection of Valve's values beyond a simple belief that you all have the right to create and consume the content you choose. You say this is a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a very important thing, and I think it's probably the best decision they could have come to in a hard spot. Valve are the curators of a space where they control a marketplace, and they control a good portion of an artistic medium by default because they control that marketplace. In the end, I want to see freedom of expression in that artistic medium more than I want to see restriction of offensive content in that medium. They've still provided, look, if it's illegal or we judge it illegal, it's out.
Or trolling, yeah.
If it's trolling, if it's Super Nazi Brothers 64, that's pretty obviously going to fall into that trolling category, I think. Or at least they'll be able to make that argument selectively when they need to.
Sure.
But they're not going to look at me and go, yeah, you did something really weird and really odd. I am not the target audience for the online issue visual novel. This is not a since me old Sega Saturn. There hasn't been too much of that anyway.
Yeah.
But I absolutely appreciate the fact that people enjoy and want to play these things. And I think that they either had to create a sort of a arbitrary case by case where a lot of people were going to get left out, or they had to say, well, this is kind of the Wild West, folks. We're going to be we're just a big open store for art. And if you're going to be an art store, then you're going to have some weird stuff. I like this decision in comparison to everything else they could have done.
Billy the Door does not agree with you. Mm-hmm. Billy the Door writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, I have a simple question, then a follow-up. What the fuck is Valve doing? I read the Kotaku article that said they're just going to let anything on their store as long as it's not illegal. I don't understand this, as it seems like an empty promise. There are going to be games that people will want taken down that they find offensive, and I see a lot of boycotts in their future for that reason. There are plenty of other places to get games online. It just seems to me they're shooting themselves in the foot. I know they're going to backtrack on this eventually. Thanks. Love you all, Billy.
I mean, I think it's entirely possible that in 5 years we'll see the Fox News of video game sites. Yes, you can just go out there and create an alternative universe where you can only buy things you like. I mean, we live in an increasingly segmented society. Technology has allowed us to create and discover ways to isolate our lives from other people's way of thinking very easily. Mm-hmm. And Valve isn't going to change that reality. They don't have that power. Yeah. What they can do is say, what's the best thing for us right now for our store, and what do we think gives us the best shot in the long run? And I do think that ultimately an open storefront is going to serve them better, not just from a business sense, but from an ethical argument stance as well. It saves them years of embroiled entanglements that they could find themselves in. Yes, people are going to boycott, they're going to get mad, but Valve's going to be able to point back and say, look, we told you. Yeah. Look, we told you. Look, we told you. Don't want to play that? You don't have to see it. You don't have to buy it. We don't even have to show it to you. Have you ever walked into a bookstore in your life that didn't contain something that you wish you'd never have to read?
I don't know, because this is why I don't walk into bookstores.
Yeah. Did you ever walk into an art museum that didn't contain something that you thought was hideous?
Yeah.
Have you ever browsed Netflix? I mean, and just kind of, wow, that's something I completely don't agree with. That's Valve's argument, is that we are here to curate art, and we've decided to open the gallery up to just about everybody. Some people are going to go nuts about it. I still think this was the best decision they could make in this circumstance. What do you think, Greg? I've talked a lot.
Yeah, no, I come down on your side. I don't agree with Billy. I think that whenever there's a dust up on the internet about this, somebody taking a game offline, whether it be PlayStation, Valve, wherever, there's, well, what about freedom of speech? What about freedom of expression, right? And that's all well and good in the Constitution of the United States. It gives you, the person, that. But when I'm Valve and I make Steam, when I'm PlayStation and I make the PlayStation Store, you are no longer in just the freedom of expression world. You're using my store. You're using my thing. I have my own rules on what I say goes here, and that's what you're agreeing to by coming on. Similar to what Billy said, if you don't agree with the rules of the PlayStation Store, if you want to put Slide up, where the fuck Slide, somewhere not on the PlayStation Store, you can use Itch.io or whatever, self-publish, all these different things.
Yeah.
I sympathize with Valve, that Valve and PC gaming and Steam, I mean, think about what we talk about with Discovery, how hard it is to find games like on a store. Think about the other side of that, of being the publishing platform that, and how impossible it is to see everything. When we sit there with PlayStation, right, and we make fun of the life of Hidden Tiger. How did this get on there? How did this get put on there? Why did nobody pay? It's because it's impossible with the amount of content you're getting to vet it appropriately and put it up there.
Yeah. And
so either you have to sit there, and what we've talked about on PlayStation, where it's like, cool, you're going to sit there and judge if a game is worthy or not worthy of a PlayStation. Okay, but then things are going to slip by and it's going to be weird. Whereas with Valve, it's impossible to do that without becoming this gatekeeper and being a role you don't necessarily want.
Yeah, and they have been clear, and we didn't read the whole blog, that things like quality control are still going to go in. Like, they don't want things that don't work on their store. They're just talking about thematic elements, thematic content. They obviously don't want broken video games for sale in their store. So there's that element as well. And I think that, again, there's so much power in that platform. What if they'd have come out and said, no, this kind of game, and this kind of game are not acceptable? Then they gain de facto power to destroy entire genres. Yeah. They would have the kind of power that the MPAA, frankly, wielded in America until streaming. Yeah, which is, look,
you don't deserve to see this movie.
Yeah,
this isn't a movie we want to show the audiences.
Because theaters, yes, the MPAA, not a government body, but movie theaters, for corporate reasons, wouldn't carry movies with X or NC-17 ratings, with a very few exceptions. Yeah. And that meant the movies couldn't make money, and that meant you couldn't make the movies, and art was controlled. Yeah. And streaming really was the first time that got broken through.
Yeah.
I hated that idea, that just because somebody doesn't want to deal with the crap, that you can't make a movie with certain elements in it.
Right.
There's a lot of things I don't want to see in movies, but I think you should be able to make them.
Yeah. And that's that's not the problem. That's the issue at hand here, right? It is freedom of expression. It is what Valve's talking about here, right? Is letting the invisible hand of the market work. Let how capitalism and economics and all that stuff is going to play out for it. And it actually ties into what we did 2 days ago on the Game Over Greggy show, talking about internet hate, right? And how this deals with it and all these different, and like the actress whose name I can't remember, but from Star Wars, who left Instagram.
Oh yeah,
because people were mean to her. We talked about that, right? And in a lot of ways, this mirrors that. And I feel that I talk about all the time of tell the people that you like and create things you like, that you like them and you like their creations, rather than talk about the things you fucking hate all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And this is another great example of it, of cool, yep, there are going to be things on Steam that are bad, or that you hate, that are offensive. The school shooting game is garbage and is offensive, and I can't imagine buying it or playing it or whatever, right? Don't give that oxygen. Don't tweet about how, hey everybody, look at this. Can you believe this is happening? Because all that does is drive more eyes to it. For somebody who's being a monster, somebody who's being a troll, somebody who's abusing the system or making something horrible, the best way to combat that is to act like they don't exist. It's why the mute button and the block button works so well. A mute button for me, of just, you're in the phantom zone and you just get to scream and nobody sees you with your 14 followers what you're doing.
I'm so glad you brought that up. The school shooting game in particular, in addition to the point you just made about positivity and the way that you back things. But, you have something like the school shooting game, but then you have something like Super Columbine RPG, which would have maybe if we had that kind of curation, might get lumped in with a school shooting because it's about a school shooting.
Yeah.
But despite its own problems, Super Columbine RPG, in places at least, attempts to create a sort of an empathetic model for how did this happen? How did these people become what they are? How did this tragedy unfold?
Right. This isn't Super Columbine Massacre, which was the one that was just straight up shooting people. Right?
Yeah. This was an RPG that was about, hey, we're playing as these terrible people, but the idea is to present that they were alienated by everyone around them, that they felt like Frankensteins, that they in that game literally end up in hell. And yes, its own problems, but it was trying to make an artistic expression about a social issue. But that might have, in another curation system, been thrown out with the bathwater.
Sure.
And that's why I'm glad. I'd rather that we be able to have everything, including some crap, than less than everything that ought to be out there, but the crap's not there.
And that's the struggle of it all, right? Of like, yeah, you have to. When we would talk about this, how to curate the PSN or the problems everywhere else, is like, I don't like the idea of a gatekeeper saying your game's not good enough to be here, because I don't want the chilling effect of, you are a young developer making a game and you're trying to make this game and get it out there. Like in the same way when I start on YouTube and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and I put up a video, like, right? Like the one positive comment keeps me going. And granted, we're talking in broad brushstrokes here, not, somebody's making a horrible game about Nazis, about this, about I'm going to go kill all the SJWs or some weird fucking shit like that, right? Like I'm talking about people who are trying to learn the craft. And I'm talking about the gatekeepers being this on the quality side in terms of like not even being a buggy, broken game, just not being a good game, right? It's a nuanced argument. It's an interesting argument. I don't think this is now the turnkey solution for Valve. I agree. I don't think Billy says, that they're going to walk this. He says, what did he say? They'll backtrack on this eventually. I don't personally, and I mean, we'll see about Billy. I don't think backtrack's the right word. I think they are going to iterate. I think that I like that Valve's being very open with this. All right, cool. We fucked up the first time. Don't worry about that. Here's what we're going to do. Wild West. And from here on out, there's going to be rules that are established. There's going to be nuanced things that get added in there to make it different. And that's what it's all about, because this is a learning process. No one has the solution. Yeah. No one has the turnkey thing. But I'm with you about like a school shooting game that's out now, or had come out now or recently. I'd seen a few people tweet horrible things like, oh my God, can you believe this is fucking happening? And I was like, ugh, I'm not even going to click on it. I'm not going to worry about it, right? But then it trickles down to Sunday, where I'm on the phone with my father, and we're getting ready to hang up, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, did you hear about this game where you go shoot the?" And I'm like, "I have heard about that," and I had to sit there and explain to him that, like, all right, it's not the industry. I know you caught this on the local news. Somebody put it up there, right? This is not how it was anymore, where you have to walk me to Toys R Us and buy the thing, right? Like that. I'm like, I had to explain to him, like, think about how I can put up anything I want on YouTube right now. Game developers can do that. They can make a game and put it out, and you don't need distribution in stores and product. You can just put it out there and get it that way. But the problem is that when that happens, like, it's the same thing of people start talking about how horrible this is, and then mainstream news is going to pick it up, and we're back to fucking having Fox News saying that all you do in Mass Effect is fuck aliens, and that's what it's all about.
And that's so delightful when we get to that end point. I do think, without hyperbole, this is probably the most important piece of news for video gaming this year so far.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because that marketplace, that the rest of the industry radiates out from the PC market. I'm not trying to be biased
you
there,
see it's a rock there, and then the ripples get to everybody else.
Yes, I really believe that this is extraordinarily important to the future of video games.
What I like about it, and the one thing that you don't necessarily see, and maybe it could be behind the scenes, but it's a public statement of what their rules and what their idea or what their mindset is. Whereas I don't get that with PlayStation. I don't get that with Xbox. When PlayStation is, hey, they like, the only reason the fucking creepy ass dating, how to pick up chicks game with all the full motion videos of you being like, hey, I'd really like to eat you out right now. Like, the only reason that one didn't happen is because enough of us saw it and talked about it that and somebody at PlayStation was like, wait, what? And they looked at the Twitter and they saw it. It's the same thing that 5-star top rated 1000, the platinum in whatever 15 seconds got pulled, right? But then came back a slide in Europe. But then we all talked about it getting excited here, and somebody else heard that and didn't put out like what's the stance, PlayStation? What are your rules? What are your regulations? What is
I think PlayStation and Microsoft and Switch are all concerned about discovery. I'm going to guess that that's a lot of it for them. Is they're like, we just don't want too many games out at once, because I do think that they. And by the way, that I understand that argument. It's just like, look, there are too many games for you to find. We can't have that.
Yeah.
So we'll just pick the ones we think are best.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, today this entire show is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Father's Day is right around the corner, and dads love meat. My dad loves meat. You know how much he loves meat? I talk about it quite often. I sent him Omaha Steaks once. Of course, you send Omaha Steaks. It comes in a giant cooler. They give you all the meats that are flash frozen. You get there, you put them in, you grill them whenever you want to. It's great. I sent it to my father once for his birthday or Father's Day. He liked it so much that he now sends it to me every holiday that it involves me, whether it be a birthday or
You get meat
Christmas.
every holiday?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah. Once Kevin thought it was an ad thing and put it all in the fridge, and my stepmom was like, "Did you get it?" And I was like, "I don't know. Did I, Kevin?" He's like, "Oh no." But we eat it all and we have a great time, like we did on Memorial Day. You said you did this for your father.
I did just today. I used that code. That's available through Kind of Funny Games Daily. I went there to Omaha Steaks.
Yeah.
I entered it in.
Yeah.
I sent my dad this for Father's Day.
Right now, Omaha Steaks is giving a limited time offer to my listeners for Father's Day at 78% off. This is an amazing deal. Go to omahasteaks.com, type KF Games in the search bar, and you get this Father's Day package. 2 filet mignons, 2 beefy top sirloins, 4 chicken fried steaks, 2 boneless pork chops, 4 all beef Omaha steak burgers, 4 jumbo franks, 12 ounces of all beef meatballs, 1 pound of steakhouse fries, 4 caramel, apple, tartlets, 1 Omaha steak seasoning packet, plus you get 4 grill-ready burgers. Again, this is a limited time package for only $49.99. When you go to omahasteaks.com, type KF Games in the search bar for Father's Day, add the package. Don't wait. This offer ends soon. Go to omahasteaks.com, type KF Games in the search bar, grab your dad, and fire up the grill.
Thanks to Omaha Steaks, my dad's belly is going to be full of delicious flesh
I'm excited,
this Father's Day.
Jared,
Yeah.
to hear how much your dad loves all this meat.
Oh, he's going to love it.
But that's so far away.
Well, I've
Father's
seen
Day
him
is
at
so
Omaha Steaks before.
it's so far away.
It is so
if
far
I
away.
wanted something more immediate, like say what games came to the digital mom and grab shops, where would I go?
I'd go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. It's Thursday, which means Switch is suffering from an abundance of games. I'm going to read through all of it. If I don't say a platform, it means Switch. A magical high school girl.
There we go.
I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to download that one.
All right.
ACA Neo Geo Riding Hero. Awkward Banner Saga 2. Awkward's on PlayStation 4. Banner Saga 2 back to Switch. Catch and Release is out now on Oculus and Steam. Games for Toddlers 2. Grid. Retro Enhanced. Heroes Oath update is now available for Terra on PC. Eero Hero, Switch again. Kodo Bat Wars, Switch. Moto GP18, PS4, Xbox One, PC. Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, Beard and Hair Pack, free DLC is available now. Polyarc released Moss VR, which I love, of course, on PC today. Steam, Oculus, and Viveport. Samurai Defender, Ninja Warfare is on Switch. Storm Chaser, Tornado Alley, Switch. We're into Switch again. D/Generation, the original. Milan Noir, Operation Hardcore, Pure Electric Love, What Do You Want, Eerie, Kitami.
Irikatami.
There you go. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn is on
Whoa!
Switch. Songbringer, Switch. You said you were playing it, you
Yeah, I'm playing Songbringer on Switch. It's fun.
Okay, good.
I like it a lot. It's a kind of Zelda-ish, kind of Golden Axe Warrior-ish, really stylized and neat. I like it a lot. I recommend you try it.
The Number Puzzle. I tried to put Games for Toddlers 2 in here again because I'm just so... Oh, no, Games for Toddlers 2 is on 3DS as well, apparently. And then Rainbow Snake is on the Nintendo 3DS as well. When does Sushi Strikers come out?
I thought that was today.
I thought so
guess that
too,
was
but
the
I
reviews, maybe.
Hold on.
The reviews are popping today.
Yeah, the reviews are popping up right. They're popping
I don't know.
up.
I assumed it was out
Scroll
today.
back up here. I think it might have been...
I don't know. I'm pretty excited.
Oh, no,
about
it comes out June 8th, so it's tomorrow. That's why.
Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. I wonder what that's like.
Only one way to
Switch.
find out.
Yeah,
Dive on in,
I'm playing
man.
that Street Fighter 30th right now. I don't know. I've got time for another fighting game.
You enjoying it?
Oh yeah, it's spectacular. It's every Street Fighter arcade game. So that's like 12 games, all beautifully emulated. It's superb.
Okay.
Yeah.
New dates for you. Battle for Azeroth will launch in the Americas, Europe, Taiwan, Korea, and Australia/New Zealand at the same time. With a midnight launch in Europe, this means that players in the United States can start playing Battle for Azeroth at 3 p.m. Pacific on August 13th. Meanwhile... I'm sorry I kicked in so many dicks earlier. Days Gone has an official release date. It will be coming February 22nd, 2019. Whoa. Who does? Writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, I'm guessing you guys will give Sony praise for their sweet spot release date of Days Gone. Parentheses, agree, it's a great spot for it. But why the heck do you not have a deeper dive and coverage on it as one of your games of E3? I'm enjoying Game Informer's coverage, but don't you think it would benefit greatly from the E3 stage time? I feel like it's a potential lack of coverage on the E3 stage says a lot about Sony's low expectation for this game/quality. Thoughts?
Greg Miller.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's a weird move. I agree. But I think this is the most weird lead up to an E3 we've ever had.
Yeah.
Of everyone announcing all sorts of stuff early. And I don't know if you're noticing it, but the E3 we knew and loved for a long time is really dead. This is the new way of E3 of, hey, this. And I think it's beneficial. I think, announce your game before it all leaks. Because guess what? There's no more secrets. We can't do it anymore. We've shown the industry has gotten to the point where we just can't do it.
You think it's about secrets? See, I think it's about influencer marketing.
I'm talking about E3 broad. You're talking about.
I'm talking about the
too?
reason I think we're getting these early releases is not because they're worried about security or leaks.
Yeah.
I think the
Well,
reason I'm getting early releases is because they want to stagger out influencer marketing. You release you release your media, you release your tease, you release your trailer, you release your announcement, and you do it early enough that there's time for organic pickup by the influencers you want to hear it, by the earned media you want to hear it, by the press you want to hear it. Get it out there. There's enough breathing space so that when the next thing comes out, you've had time for your thing to disseminate, and you still hold enough back for the show that you can still wow the crowd. I really think it doesn't have to do with security. I think it's
I don't.
almost entirely,
That's not my main
All right.
reason. No. I think what you're talking about, it's giving places, give them a beat and let it grow.
Yeah.
The fact that they announced Division 2 with just a logo or whatever got me super stoked and paying attention to Division stuff again. There's more coming up here, right? And by the way, I'm hosting the Division panel at E3. Super stoked. Didn't know that when I got excited for Division 2.
Whoa.
Coliseum on Thursday morning. I
didn't know you were doing that.
No, Wednesday. It's live. I've been tweeting it. Wednesday for sure.
Cool.
It gets out there and let it breathe. And I think that's what Days Gone is. I do think it's weird it has no presence on the E3 stage. However, I think it's had E3 stage presence before, right? And did it blow anybody's socks off? No. Everybody was like, it's just another zombie game, whatever. I think this is a game that requires a deep dive, which Game Informer got to do, and lead that conversation for a month of this is what this game is. Then cap it off with Judges Week where we played it. And I was like, you know what? After 20 minutes, I do really want to play this. It is really cool. It's had its chance now to breathe, grow, get momentum. Now, we go into E3. Here's all this hotness you're going to hear about. And some of it's immediate. Some of it's quite a ways out. And then we'll go into holiday season, and just as we go like, oh man, I've played everything this holiday season, it'll be, oh fuck, Days Gone though.
Do you think this headlines PSX? I mean, that's
that's the thing is like, at PSX now it gets another huge showing. Like that PlayStation, the PlayStation Experience Conference or whatever they do this year, it'll definitely have a huge.
Plus,
part
we still got Gamescom coming up. I mean, that's the other bit. We're talking about American market stuff, but they may look at Days Gone and go, this is a game we think will sell just as well in world as it will here. So maybe we want to focus on it there. That's the other bit. We forget that E3 is really an American-centric show. Yeah. And there's a whole other, TGS is fine, but it's not as important as it used to be. But Gamescom is humongous. So any game that you think is going to have big world pickup, you might want to save your big guns for that.
Grant J writes in on this Days Gone train because we have more release dates after this and says, hello there, Greg and the Games Daily crew. I'm very excited to hear about Days Gone's release date. Everything I've seen and heard about this game has made me hype as fuck. Hashtag Gatorade Decade of Dreams. However, the choice to put Days Gone out in February has me concerned. With other big AAA multi-platform titles such as The Division 2 and Anthem most likely releasing in March, and the rumor that Assassin's Creed Odyssey is incoming for February-March as well, is Days Gone doomed to fail as a new IP? Would Sony have been better served to put out Days Gone in January where no other big titles have been announced yet? Grant, it's hard to say because you're saying, you are the three games you list. Well, they said Anthem for sure, right? Is out in March, I think, or that part. Division 2, we don't know a release date on. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is just a rumor as well. I think Division and Anthem, if that's going to happen, as you're saying here, multi-platforms likely in March, or even that first part of the year, then you'd have an issue of them running into each other. I think Division, Anthem, that's a more, two games that are like require you to be all in on a games of service. That's trouble. Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Days Gone get interesting because, two open world games go and explore everything, but very different worlds.
Yeah,
different mechanics.
I'm not too worried about February. I think it's good, and it's an exclusive. That's the other bit.
I think it's a good look
everything
for
else
it.
he's talking about here is going to be on everything, but Days Gone is going to be there for your PlayStation.
Days Gone's going to rise and fall based on how good it is. Yeah. It's got a window there where it can succeed, where it can blow your hair back and tell you something different. Streams having issues though?
Yeah.
Best we can do. We're going to keep going. You can catch the rest of it on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Bots Toff gets the final Days Gone question. It says, hey, Jared and Greg.
Hi.
With Days Gone being announced for February 2019, is it reasonable to expect The Last of Us to be our fall game of the same year? In other words, is that gap enough time to have people differentiate between two post-apocalyptics, quote-unquote, don't call them zombies, zombie games? Just curious to see if another version of this phenomenon has happened in games before. Have a wonderful day. Well, zombie games are everywhere.
Yeah.
Two zombie exclusives or whatever. I guess that's a more interesting question.
That Deep Impact versus Armageddon scenario going on there. Yeah, you get stuff side by side every now and then. You're like, whoa, this sure is similar. But I think that's enough time for these two. Just because The Last of Us is The Last of Us.
Yeah.
If this were Last of Us 1 and none of us knew what we were getting into, it might be a much bigger deal. But people are going to buy The Last of Us 2.
And as I've said, just from a little bit of Days Gone, mechanically, it doesn't play like Last of Us. And I when I'm playing it, I wasn't like thinking of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So we'll see, what The Last of Us brings to the table. Last of Us is such a narrative-driven story, all these different things.
Well, I mean,
but more importantly, is Last of Us coming in 2019?
Yeah, and it's a transcendental property. I mean, Greg, you could look into the camera like after playing it and say, The Last of Us 2, don't buy it.
Yeah. Oh, that's not gonna
And
stop
people
the
would
train.
buy it anyway.
They'd say, you're a fucking idiot, Greg, we hate you. Yeah.
Exactly. Because it has that kind of gravity.
Yeah. 2019, though, will it happen?
I think 2019.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
I bet
like-
they say 2019 at some point, maybe even E3, but will it happen?
I think winter 2019.
Neil Druckmann conditioning his hair a lot. You know what I mean? Not making a game as much, just conditioning that lovely hair all the time. More dates for you. Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight and Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight are going to hit PlayStation 4 and Vita in early 2019.
Vita!
Whoop, whoop. Project High Rise Architects Edition will release in fall 2018 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Steven Totillo over at Kotaku says The Division's next big patch, 1.8.2, and Kevin, this is important for you and me, will be out on June 14th, the developers said today in a live stream. It adds 2 legendary versions of the missions, quote, reactivation caches that contain 3 non-classified gear sets, and quote unquote shields, which unlock things in The Division 2. But it won't be unveiled until E3 next week. So, also they say, quote, no weird doors have been fixed, end quote.
Well, there we go.
Inside joke for Division players. Kevin, that means that when we come back from E3, we're playing the Division. We need to get these shields. I need to get whatever I need for Division 2, okay?
But I'm not good.
I'll get you good. Everyone's going to have fun, Kevin. Jeez.
I'm in, dude.
Well, you sounded like you weren't in there for a second.
Worried.
Ladies and gentlemen, we integrated a lot of your reader mail to the show, so we're jumping straight to Squad Up. This is where one of you writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD. Give me your name, username, platform of choice, and why you need help in a video game. I read it here. The best friends come and find you, and everybody plays games together. Johnathan Crane from Boise, Idaho writes in, needs help on Xbox One. Xbox One username is ZZ02. 0 spelled out, so it's ZZZERO2. All one word. I am new to Destiny 2 on Xbox One. I am needing some best friends to help me get ready for the next upcoming expansion for Destiny 2. So, if anyone wants to come and raid and do strikes, that would be awesome. Thanks and have a fantastic day. Also tell Jared I say hi.
Hi.
Jared? Johnathan Crane from Boise, Idaho says hello.
If you see Johnathan, please tell him I said hi back.
I will. Everybody find Johnathan on Xbox, ZZ02. Jared, we gave everybody a required reading assessment yesterday.
We did.
Because the show was going too long then.
Yeah.
Now the show's going even fucking longer.
I know. What's up with that?
It's E3.
Yeah.
It's E3.
I don't even think
This
I
is the
ran it that
problem.
much this time.
No, it's not you.
Yeah.
It's E3.
Just E3,
This is
yeah.
why when Nick was super long today, I was like, you can't do this. It's E3. We're reading into E3.
He did go real long.
We told you yesterday to go over to Variety and read Brian Crescente's article. Ubisoft believes next gen is the last for consoles as Microsoft looks beyond platforms. I read a segment yesterday where Ubisoft's Yves Guillemot said basically that they think there's going to be one more console life cycle, then it's just going to be streaming because everybody wants to get their games everywhere. Variety, Crescente, reached out to Nintendo, had a quote from Reggie that's basically like, the Switch is already everywhere. We're doing great. Everything's great.
Yeah.
PlayStation didn't comment. And then Phil Spencer gave the following. Quote, our focus right now is asking the question, what can Microsoft do for gaming instead of simply how to stack up against the competition? It's why we look at expanding the audience with the Xbox Adaptive Controller, or how we can make sure games can be multi-generational with backwards or projects like backwards compatibility. I care less that people play Minecraft on an Xbox One, but that people play Minecraft no matter what console or device they have in front of them, end quote. Crescente says, that notion is about as platform as not...
Platform agnostic.
That notion is about as platform agnostic as a platform holder can get. Spencer notes that gaming is now one of Microsoft's 6 solution areas, as defined last fall by company president Satya Nadella. Quote, he challenged us to make Microsoft the global leader in gaming by empowering everyone on the planet to play, watch, communicate, and create together, Spencer said. I mentioned it earlier, but it's a particularly good example. We're updating Minecraft to play across as many devices as we can toward a goal of having every Minecraft player in the world be able to watch, communicate, and play together. We're focused on this mission for the future of gaming at Microsoft. Jared, console's dying. I remember when we said this last generation. We said, PlayStation 4, that'll be it. That's not going to happen. Then we'll all play on one device.
Yeah, this says this notion's about as platform agnostic as a platform holder can hold here from the text.
Yeah.
First off, I disagree with that right away. Microsoft is a platform holder, but they are not a platform holder in the same way that Sony or Nintendo are. Because Microsoft, despite the fact that they produce hardware, is not primarily a hardware company. Microsoft's platform is Windows. Microsoft's platform is things that run on any electronic device it can get its stuff on. We would all be using Windows phones if they hadn't screwed it up. We would all be playing our music on Microsoft devices if they hadn't screwed it up. And the plain fact of the matter is we are all using our computers with a very small subsection of Mac users using Microsoft software. Microsoft is in the business of getting their stuff on as many electronic devices as they can, and that is first and foremost their concern, and they're unapologetic and transparent about that, and that's what they want to happen. So the idea that this is somehow platform agnostic, no, they are the platform, and that's the perspective they're coming from. Also, getting your software into the hands of as many people as possible is what any third party is going to want. Of course, Ubisoft wants to be able to get it out there. The larger your install base, the fewer barriers there are between you and getting it into people's hands. The more generic your development environment is, the happier you are as a software maker. So you want to be able to do things like what Fortnite did in the course of a year, getting it on phones and on consoles and on PC and most likely on Switch very soon. It's all over the place. And look, there's that marketplace. That all said, God knows when this is going to happen.
We've all been predicting it for so long.
Microsoft's wanted it forever and ever and ever, but there are real technical problems. Will bandwidth allow it? Because yes, we got more bandwidth, but the games keep getting bigger too. So the bigger the games get, the harder it is to stream them. We run into one area that, when does it hit critical mass? When does it hit that sweet spot? Second, who's going to win the video game Netflix war? Because generally speaking, when somebody comes out with a big innovation like that, how many people remember MySpace? How many people, you've got that one that breaks through, and then you got somebody else that copies it and does it better, and they're the ones that win. I imagine that's what's going to happen with game streaming. And the fact that these businesses still produce hardware. Nintendo's primarily a toy company, and Sony's a proprietary company that's always about their own. All those factors feed into this. So this is fortune telling, but really it's part fortune telling and part investor propaganda. You walk out there and you say, well, of course we want to get it out to as many people as we can. And that's why you should invest in us. They're not completely wrong.
Ubisoft in particular, right?
Exactly.
That's the thing where when you have a Uplay and you have this and you're a third party, it can be more of a Fortnite situation where you're like, I'm going to put a Rocket League where we're going to go everywhere and you can play together. It's going to be, how quickly is Sony going to give up this race to Nintendo and Xbox?
Yeah, propaganda can be true. Like, I'm not saying it's fake.
Sure.
I'm saying that it's both what serves their interest and what may happen. But I think that anybody predicting, guess what? A PS4 and an Xbox One are a lot alike at a hardware level already. So it becomes, when I was seeing Switch games ported over, maybe we do reach that place this generation. I don't think anyone has a clue. I think we're about to see a really nasty war between a lot of platform holders that are all trying to get their software out to us streaming. And until that's over, we're going to have no idea where we're playing these games.
Well said. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody watches this show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. And when they do, I ask them to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight later when you're watching on YouTube. And it's been an hour and 20 minutes. You know what the fuck you're doing.
It's an epically long episode.
Okay, JT says he confirms that it was just a bet about Crackdown 3. I'll earn no points. Fuck me.
Sorry, man.
It's okay.
I almost feel like that should count.
Capitalist Pig says when I was trying to bring up that woman, the Microsoft exec, I was thinking of Shannon Loftus. That was correct as well. Yes.
I don't think I read that interview.
It's a good one. No, I'm not doing that.
I'm so old. I said read. I probably could have just watched
I could have read it somewhere.
I could have read it there.
I can't believe it.
I like reading. Reading is fun. Watching is fun too.
Someone's trying to correct me about something going on in 2 weeks ago. No, we're fine.
Okay, we're good there.
Actually, that's kind of funny, actually, I guess. Though.
Missed your chance.
Nate's Dope says, Greg Miller, 2 weeks ago, you stated that you would not be covering the PC conference because, quote, I don't need to hear about Tetris 2020, end quote. Fast forward to yesterday, you said pretty hot. That's great. That's actually really good.
That's really great.
Did I say Tetris, though? I love Tetris, but I don't know, whatever.
I think I remember you saying that, actually.
Okay, good. I'm not even going to do that because I already told you it was fake. Apparently, Rocksteady leans into a quote, like being like, that image is pretty fake, even though we don't comment on rumors and speculations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind. Again, we got to create that perfect fake, man.
I'm gonna fucking lose my mind on Ignacio Rojas. The problem with Greg's logic regarding the leaked Superman game using DCEU symbol as and font is that WB clearly doesn't want to let the DCEU go. They just announced they're making a movie with Jared Leto. No. Yes, a movie, Ignacio. Is my argument this hard to understand? I'm not saying the DCEU is blowing up and it's gone forever. I'm saying it's movies. They're not gonna go make a shitty game and tie it into it. I don't know about these kids anymore. He sounds like somebody needs to go get punched, Jared. I might send you out there.
No punishment
Jared?
for Ignacio. I like Ignacio.
I volunteer.
You volunteer as tribute?
I like Ignacio. I don't.
No,
I
we all like
punish him.
Ignacio. We're just giving him a hard time.
Do we? Do we all?
Yeah.
We all like him.
Zach says that Insomniac Oculus exclusive I was talking about before was Edge of Nowhere. When I was like, they did one already.
Okay.
That's the one.
There we go.
Uh,
I don't think I played that.
EZ says Skate 3 servers were turned back on. If you see this, the Skate 3 servers came back online just mysteriously, and so everyone's saying Skate 4 is being announced at E3. I fucking hope so. I hope it's Tim's prediction of Tony Hawk's Skate 4. That'd be amazing. I don't care about that. No. Well, yeah. Mikhail says, breaking, J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot launches a video game division.
Oh.
They've been involved with that before. You gave me a link. I'll look into it for maybe tomorrow's show.
Yeah, I mean, they had like a Valve partnership there for a while, didn't they?
Did they?
I think that there's. I think JJ and Valve have a history there. There's supposed to be some tie-in stuff. I could be wrong about that, but I think so.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an epic Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you want to watch it, check out twitch.tv/kindafunnygames or watch it later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames or listen on podcast services around the globe. Tomorrow is Friday, the final Kinda Funny Games Daily before E3. Let's see what else fucking leaks. Tim will be here to be my co-host, so if you want to hear about whatever Smash Brothers character he thinks is going to announce, ask that. And Jared, we'll see you in LA.
I'll see you in LA.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure to serve you.